Alright, YouTube, how the duck you doing? Duck Films here, and looks like we got some new patch notes. This is Thursday, July 9th, and we see the minor update. So, Earn Runner sprint bonus reduced from +2 to 0, trailing bonus reduced from +7 to +5. So, you can be running a little bit slower with the Earn now. Earn Runner move speed bonus reduced from 3.5 to 2, Earn Runner stamina recovery from 15% to 25. Earn talking frequency increase from every 8 seconds to every 6. Don't really understand what's the point of that. Earn talking sound distance increase, easier to hear a nearby Earn Runner. So this is a change that, because when you're running the Earn, you're invisible on the map now. This is another way to be identified. And like I said, if you're new here and haven't done so already, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for a lot of Deadlock content. Definitely check it out. But anyways, continuing on. So continuing the patch along, we actually see a change with the unstable unstable rift. Warning time reduced from 25 to 20 seconds, so you have to be a little bit quicker on your feet to get to it. Rift Troopers now have Spirit Res 30, 35, 40, 45%, which is pretty good. Rift Troopers now have melee resist at 25%. It didn't have melee resist before, so this is a good change. And Rift Troopers spawn interval increased from every 0.3 seconds to 0.5, so it spawns slightly more staggered, so you can't instantly eliminate the entire wave in 1 second, which is really good. Unstable Rift comeback resist aura radius increase from 20 meters to 35, so you have a little bit more room to work with, which is, really good for an objective that large, a big AoE objective, which is nice. And Rift Troopers max combat count was increased from 12 to 14, so 2 more troopers. Overall, some really solid buffs to the Rift Troopers, because let's be honest, although it is a nice new objective, there wasn't really anything out of it besides the souls, because you can instantly get rid of the Rift Troopers because they didn't have melee res. So characters that, did a ton of melee damage instantly deleted the wave, and there's really nothing to do. So this is a solid change. I would definitely like to see more implementation of some other changes made to the Rift, but overall pretty solid. Then moving on, we have objectives, and you can see the objectives bounty split for nearby heroes reduced from 40 to 30%. This means slightly more portion of the bounty is split team-wide rather than towards an individual player, which is kind of nice. So more emphasis on team play and trying to work for objectives. And this is also inherently kind of nerfing solo walkers in a way because of this change here. So sometimes now it might not be the most optimal soul means or soul generator of trying to go for a split push, which in my opinion is actually a pretty decently sized change, whether you want to believe it or not. So definitely something to be looking out for. But anyways, moving straight along, we have Scourge, where max health per second was reduced from 2.6 to 2.5. So another nerf to Scourge. This item is still unbelievably overpowered and super strong, and definitely still going to be a much sought after item. 2.6 to 2.5. You still have the other change to where they adjusted, where is it? Previously, right here, the max damage from 3.5 to 2.6. However, you still have the spirit scaling. So I don't think this change is massive to Scourge, but I'll have to look at the numbers more. For Billy, Rising Ram tier 3 spirit scaling reduced from 0.035 to 0.03, which is another decent sized change. Then following that, we have Doorman, where the bullet damage rescaled from 29.26 plus 1.1 per boon to 26 plus 1.19 per boon. So a overall nerf to the bullet damage to Doorman, especially the 26 flat, is pretty massive. However, it does scale now by a little bit more. Or sorry, math is hard sometimes. You get the idea. Then Doorman crit scaling reduced from 25 to 30%, so he's gonna be doing less crits. Okay. Doorman Hotel Guest Tier 3 increased from 13-second cooldown on failure to check out to 15 seconds. Okay, that's fine. Now, probably the bigger change is Drifter. So, bullet damage per boon was reduced from 0.616 to 0.49, which is a pretty massive change to the bullet scaling. Drifter Blood Scent Tier 3 reduced from 12% to 11%, which is another decently sized change. Yes, it's 1%, but it's still quite a lot. Drifter Stalker's Mark Tier 2 increased from -8 to -12, pretty massive. Stalker Mark Tier 3 reduced from plus 2% bleed to plus 1.5%. Another decent change. So there's a pretty heavy nerf to this character, I would say. Mainly the damage per boon. The 0.616 to 0.49 is pretty massive. This is a major nerf. Yes, these look like, big numbers, 12 to 11 or whatever, but these are still significantly impacting the character in general. So these are pretty big nerfs, I would say, to Drifter overall. Definitely a little interesting to see. Graves, Jar of Dead tier 1 heal spirit scaling increase from 0.1 to 0.16, okay? Jar of Deadheads now builds up faster from neutral creeps. So, troopers, camps, I'm not sure if towers would be considered. I don't think they're necessary creeps per se, but that is definitely something that interesting to look at. Grasping Hands immobilized duration reduced from 1.25 to 1 second. Okay. Grasping Hands tier 3 cooldown increase from -10 to -14. Essence Theft now procs from melee hits. Interesting. Essence Theft tier 3 now also increases max steal targets from 3 to 4. Pretty big. Borrowed Decree tier 1 changed from -15 second cooldown to -15 and plus 25% ghoul speed. So pretty big buff here for Graves. Borrowed Decree tier 2 changed from plus 25% ghoul speed and plus 10 second duration to minus 0.3 time to spawn and plus 10 per second duration. So you're going to have more uptime with your ghouls. So definitely a nice change to Graves. I would say this is good. This is good. I mean, yeah, this is a slight nerf, but doesn't really do anything for the how Graves interacts as a whole. So it doesn't really change anything. But this is a nice change as well. I think she definitely is going to be benefiting a lot from this. She went from being like the lowest tiered character to she might move up a couple tiers, but we shall see. Haze, Sleep Dagger, tier 2 now also applies 15 fixations. This is crazy. This here. This is kind of crazy to me. So if you land a dagger, if you went like 2 points dagger, 1 point fixation in lane, you could probably nuke somebody really fast, I would say. You could probably kill somebody really, really fast. So pretty big in my opinion. Haze, Sleep Dagger, tier 2 reduced from -18 to -17. So it has both of these, I guess, which is good. Yeah, that's good. Holiday Powder Keg Spirits Calling reduced from 1.2 to 1.05. So pretty big. Calling. I didn't mispronounce it. They mistyped it, alright? They forgot the S. I think they accidentally put a space here, which is kind of funny. Mirage. Mirage got some changes as well. So looking at Mirage. Mirage. Fire Scarabs tier 3 spirit scaling reduced from 0.17 to 0.13. Decent change. Dust Level tier 3 spirit scaling reduced from 1 to 0.6. Okay. Jin's Mark cooldown reduced from 3 seconds to 2.75. Jin's Mark tier 3 cooldown reduced from -1 to -0.75. Traveler tier 3 increased from -70 cooldown to -90. So you're just going back to playing Jin's Mark Mirage again. This change here is pretty significant. I mean, this is alright. You would still go like 1 to 2 points Scarabs first, then I think you would just go into Mark more. I don't think you would go anymore into this into NATO because of the 1 to 0.6. Yeah, like you're not losing any of like the bullet evasion or anything, but I think overall it would just be better. Okay. Did Pocket. Affliction duration reduced from 11 to 10 seconds. Alright, so just a flat nerf to Pocket in general. Then we have more Shiv chains. Who would have thought? Serrated Knives tier 3 spirit scaling reduced from 0.09 to 0.07. Slice and Dice spirit scaling reduced from 1.44 to 1.2. Slice and Dice tier 2 reduced from -6 res to -4. Bloodletting cooldown increased from 20 seconds to 25. Bloodletting tier 1 increased from -10 to -15. Bloodletting damage cleared reduced from 35 to 30. Tier 2 damage cleared increased from 35 to 40. So a little compensation change here. Shiv killing blow health threshold reduced from 20 to 18%, so less kill, I guess, less execution value. And then tier 3 health threshold increased from 8 to 10. So this is so it was at 10 originally, then they moved it back to 8, now they moved it back up to 10. Huh, interesting. So this is I guess a rebuff, but a inherent nerf to Shiv. However, there is some compensation changes with the killing blow and the bloodletting here, but all this above is a nerf, which I think is fine. Shiv is already super strong. He's been strong since the game came out. He's still going to be strong no matter what. I think they have to really like think about this character if they want to nerf him entirely. Like you can't be mad that like you can't say that this character is weak at all. Like they're still nerfing him. Silver. Silver Lycan Curse cooldown reduced from 80 seconds to 60, so a buff. Interesting. Victor, Shocking Animation cooldown reduced from 275 to 240, so a buff. Viscous, Splatter Tier 3 Spirit Scaling reduced from 1.0 to 0.9. Okay. So nerf the Viscous Splatter, which is good. Yamato Flying Slash range reduced from 28 meters to 26. That's fine. Flying Slash Tier 3 charge delay increased from 3 seconds to 4. Okay. Flying Slash Tier 3 ally targeting now requires alt cast input. Alright. Overall, some pretty decent changes, I would say. Let me know what you think about these changes in the comments down below, as always. I think the biggest changes to be looking at, I think it's Mirage ones and the Drifter ones. Overall, I think it's a pretty good patch. A smaller patch than I would have liked, probably. Like, I would have minded a bigger patch to, like, look at everything. But I think this patch is just right. I think they're addressing a lot of the hurt or the pain marks. Like, it felt like the Rift was too weak, so they needed to do something with it, so they buffed the troopers and just buffed everything about it, which is good. Scourge, still a super strong item. They slightly nerfed it. Is it still going to be super strong? Probably. Billy, his Rising Ram was a little, with the Spirit Scaling was a little much, so they reduced it slightly. Some Doorman nerfs, that's fine. Drifter was an absolute menace, and it seems like they just don't like this character being strong ever. Because it feels like whenever this character becomes strong, they're like, oh, let's nerf it back down. So that's kind of what they did. Graves, some minor buffs, I would say, here and there. Nothing too crazy, like they didn't really change the main amount of damage he's going to be doing. However, the heal, spirit scaling, and everything else is really nice for this character. I think it gives a lot more availability and opportunity for this character to actually shine. The Haze Sleep Dagger is nice. I like the fixation stacks. I want to test this a little bit more. Holiday Powder Keg Spirit Scaling Reduce. This is good because she already did a ton of damage, even after the previous nerf. I think bringing this back down is fine. Mirage, it was definitely a big factor of being a menace. I think these changes are fine, but I think you're just building Mirage kind of back to how he was, essentially. So this is no big deal. Shiv, nerf, absolutely needed. Pocket Affliction duration reduced from 11 to 10. That's fine. The character still does a lot of damage. His Affliction is still super useful and impactful in every way, shape, or form. So I think Pocket is still fine. Silver buff is a little bit interesting because they cooldown reduced from 80 to 60, which I'm not sure about. But yeah, same with Victor ult. Viscous Splatter needed to be nerfed. Yamato needed, I guess these are a little bit of like quality of life, I would say. Especially with the ally target now requires an alt cast instead of, so you can actually determine who you're going to. So I think this is overall fine. Like I said, I'll have to link to the patch notes in the comments down below. Like always, if you like this type of content, want to see more, definitely consider subscribing. Definitely consider liking the video. As always, I hope you have a great day. Catch you in the next one. Peace.